Hey y'all, this is your girl BMORE and welcome to the Dummies Cauldron. Hey, this is your girl BMORE and you are listening to the Dummies Cauldron. So, here in this audio, we are going to be discussing how the new moon in Taurus is going to impact people's sun, moons, and risings. So, here, the way I did this breakdown, it is for the rising signs. It's also calculated for the moon signs. So, if you want to do moon, sun, rising, all of that stuff, you can. If you don't know your time of birth, the rising sign is going to be a tricky thing. So I would suggest you to just go into with your sun sign and moon sign. All right. If you have any questions or you're struggling to get a hold of what your sun sign or moon sign or even rising sign is, you can always reach out to me and I will find it for you. Okay. So let's start with the first sign. Also, if you hear any papers flipping, it is my notes, so bear with me. So here we have Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. This is going to be in your second house. So here we see an emphasis on material values, financial status, immediate family, the things that you say, attitude about money. Your income could increase during this time period. It's possibly to receive a gift or a windfall, but I really would suggest you to manage your finances, figure out where things are coming, where things are going. All right. We also have it where the moon is in, like I said, your second house for this. So that is your fourth house lord. So when your fourth house lord is in your second house, your upbringing really shapes the way you handle money, or really shapes your values. So, we may even possibly develop a diverse set of values, mainly because the moon is changeable and finicky. So really trying to understand how your money, your values, the things you say impacts your home life, or maybe how it has been inspired from early upbringing. And how this can affect your relationship with the public and other people. That is what you guys will be dealing with for this month. You also have like the 11th house lord and 12th house lord. I actually would tell Aries to be mindful of what your desires are, because it can really take place or shape. All of these things can shape in your second house about what you want for money, relationships, friendships, all of that type of stuff. Okay. Alrighty, so for Taurus, this is going to occur in your first house. Typically, when we have new moons in the first house, people want to make changes in their appearance. There's new personal ventures that people start with. This can also indicate a rise in popularity, and this creates an emphasis there. I would use this time for you to really figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are and kind of just go after them, okay? We also have your third house ruler in your first house. So a lot of this is going to be shaping in a way where you feel like you must express how you feel. You must talk. People have to know really how I feel or where my mind is. You're never really at a loss for anything. Like people say, like they never lose words or they always have something to say. That's really kind of how it is. You really feel like it's very mandatory for you. Also, because Uranus is in the first house, there can also be maybe unusual ways in which you start. This also can sometimes be gossipy or kind of troublemaking. So maybe competitors make trouble with you. Maybe, these things are centering around like siblings or local politics. You also could be a person who's traveling for work or being phoned for traveling to work. You can also talk your way into any opportunity if you really need one. So just keep this in mind. This can also center too around possibly like subordinates, pets, enemies, things like that in health, overall health. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to social circles and what your desires are. And we'll just take it from there. Good luck, Taurus. All right, for Geminis, this will be occurring in your 12th house. So when we have new moons in 12th house, confidential information is usually communicated. So telling secrets or trying to have covert or secretive conversations. So maybe you're more secluded. Maybe you're trying to have more secretive conversations at this time. I really would advise the Geminis to review the last several months in preparation for the new moon at the end of May, which will be in their first house. This can occur like I said, in the next one. Most of the time it is. It's really rare that it isn't. But you could also be involved with someone who may be going to the hospital or like institutionalized. So maybe they're going to churches. Maybe they're trying to deal with their mental health or hospitals or stuff like that. There could also be a hidden side or intuition or suppressed desires or talents that kind of like emerge at this time. So maybe it's like, oh, I always wanted to, try this thing. Maybe it's like a hobby. Maybe you always wanted to knit. Maybe you always wanted to learn an instrument, whatever it is. That kind of comes out. So your desires come out. There's also, like I said, a more suppressive side that people are trying to pay attention to. And because both the 12th house and the 5th house kind of going hand in hand, we also see this with forms of creativity. We also see this with children and romantic lovers. They may also participate in some of this as well. Because it may be, like I said, an adjustment in identity in the public or how we come across, Maybe our philosophies change. Maybe we travel long distances. This is our second house lord in the 12th house. So because the second house lord deals with like expenses and spending and all these other stuff, that is very much so possible. So we're seeing things around how much we're going to spend on things or what we're personally buying. We also see things about immediate families. You may also make a living from private settings or being in more seclusion. So I see a lot of Geminis kind of going away in seclusion. Institutions like I talked about before, like hospitals, churches, psychiatric places where they can get their income from that. So this can be like even like being a nurse or a doctor. Your values are usually also a very deep subconscious like embedment. So you could really spend a lot of times alone trying to like psychoanalyze or kind of going through or understanding what your inner strengths and weaknesses are, what your values are, what are your personal philosophy or like religious pursuits. It can also be some type of, like I said, long distance travel, because the 12th house deals with like foreigners, international travel, going far away as well. And so we can also see that too with like immediate family. So, maybe a family member could be hospitalized, or maybe you go to church too. Easter was recently too. So maybe you go to church to go see a family member, etc. Okay. But all of this stuff, like I said, it can have a kind of a pushback or an impact on reputation and career. So try to like view, like I say, pay attention to your instincts. Why do you feel that way? Maybe you need rest in seclusion. Like maybe you need to recover from something. Who knows? But there could be something where you just need more seclusion or privacy at this time. You need more intimacy at this time. And that may or may not impact your finances. So figure that out. All right. Good luck, Gemini. All right. For my cancers. So cancers. Y'all going through a lot right now. But this new moon is going to happen in your 11th house. So typically this is a usually lighter month for people. It's usually filled with social events. Maybe they're having like events that are at home or like family get-togethers or etc. Usually networking, hanging out with friends, trying to get into some humanitarian efforts or trying to pursue a goal right now. This is your first house lord in the 11th house. So typically what I find with first house lord in the 11th house, you guys are very, very, very venturesome, and you guys are very social. Sometimes there is a problem with issues of taking risks that could get you in trouble. Sometimes you can even be the victim of circumstances that can put you into even more danger, you know. So learn good judgment, be responsible in your dealings with others. Especially since your rising is a moon sign, or you have a Cancer sun moon. That means you're receptive to other people's opinions of you. And if your ruler goes into the 11th house, it doubles down on groups. So you're very much so sensitive to how people view you. So if you know that you're built like that, then I need y'all to play y'all positions, okay? I need y'all to play y'all positions. All right. So again, this is good for humanitarian acts, doing group activities. You know, maybe you do community pickup or like cleanups and stuff like that. But I need the Cancers to understand that. That's all. You know, if there can be some obstacles too in your reputation, you know, and maybe the obstacles are of a sexual nature. And honestly, they kind of started a few weeks ago. But if you listen to the solar eclipse notes or solar eclipse audio that I did on my Patreon, you'll see that scandal is a main contender for Cancers. So you guys kind of have to get it together. You may even have some legal pursuits here. So just try to be responsible, be diligent. If you know like I said, your reputation is everything to you, then you need to lead with that. All right. And I already told y'all before, on Patreon with the audios for the lunar eclipse, that who you socialize with really matters. We also see that kind of come back again in this type of thing, because again, it deals with survival, what we're keeping, what we're getting rid of, what is the core issue. But who you socialize with matters. Okay? Good luck, Cancer. So for my Leos, this is going to be in your 10th house. So you're really going to seek some validation from your career. You need evidence that you're really doing a thing. You need evidence to know that your status is on the rise. So typically this can trigger promotion or praise or honors or some type of public recognition from some type of superior. This can also be possibly contact with government entities, being involved with a parent, etc. Because the 10th, 4th house axis can deal with parental responsibility. I will also say the 12th house lord goes to the 10th house. So we can see a lot of gossiping or people putting out secrets, like things come to the surface, like people cannot keep their mouth shut. So like who you running with on the low, who you've been with, these types of things all come to the surface. This can also be careers in like medicine. You can see careers in secret affairs, so things that require privacy. So like I said, medicine, maybe spiritual pursuits, maybe you deal with some like deep level of some type of psychology. What else? Oh, we can also see too where like I said, there's a strong focus on trying to deal with your subconscious, and so trying to integrate subconscious elements or insights or your intuition into your work life. I can also see this too of like not facing what is really bothering you, but like I said, you're only going to see victory if you face the core of the issue. Like in a previous audio, if you face the core of the issue, you're going to have success. So there's a temptation not to face yourself, to do all of these works, or, you know, being too busy to live up to your obligations or your expectations, you know. And so with this, you can't really get away with secret things. Everything comes out in the wash. All right. Everything comes out in the wash. So again, relationships that you have with others that are dicey, You have secrets, obstacles. This maybe even could be a more dangerous criminal elements, psychological obstacles, even a sexual component. Maybe a sexual secret comes out. It becomes public. So good luck. Good luck. Because I can see this in your third house with competitors and neighbors and siblings, and good luck, Leo. Okay, just go for it. Be brave. Don't buckle. Just be brave and shoot straight. If you have an issue, you got something to deal with, just deal with it. Be concise. Own up to it. Try to work it out. All right, for my Virgos. So here, Virgos, this is happening in your ninth house. So this is a really great time to look for future long-term goals and try to come up with your plans. You could hear from people that are far away from you, international. You can travel long distances or try to experience different cultures, or something that is unfamiliar with then your day-to-day life can pop up. You can also get involved in legal matters, or maybe with your in-laws. This can be from anything. Maybe it's jury duty, whatever. This influence also emphasizes your ethics. What do you believe in? I'm gonna really say more so morals, but I'm gonna rock with it. But your ethics and morals, and it challenges you to assess your personal life, your philosophy, what is true to you. How do you actually feel? So we're gonna see a lot of that pop up, and maybe how your morals and your ethics impact your finances. Maybe there's expenses coming up. Maybe there's secrets that have possibly been formulated. Maybe we find out that people we've been running with really don't like us that much. Maybe we find out we are our own worst enemy. We can also see too with the idea of slander and competitors and rivals kind of all coming at y'all quick. But like I said, if you've been on my Patreon, you've been listening, you've been checking in, look, you shouldn't even be having these problems. I already told y'all what the tea was and where to start. Like, y'all should not, realistically, you should not be having all of this drama. If you cleared the floor, you got rid of people, you really shouldn't have this much. But this month, because your 11th house lord is going into your 9th house, maybe you're seeking people with the same outlook you have, that share the same ethic principle. Maybe y'all basically on one accord. Maybe you have friends and people who come from different places. They have very foreign or alien cultures. The money and stuff from your career is connected sometimes to different countries, or to foreign placements or unusual placements. Maybe it's connected with collegiate institutions. Maybe it's connected with maybe people of like higher society, things like that. Maybe artistic pursuits. But they are coming from different placements. Maybe it comes from religious institutions, etc. Your goals and hopes can also be focused on getting good education, handling legal issues. Religious things could attract you. Maybe you're trying to relate to your in-laws or relate to people who are very different from you. So there you have it. But Virgo, good luck. Y'all got a lot kind of pushing on your plate right now. Maybe you're trying to make partnerships to handle some certain things around you in this moment. But like I said, if y'all got y'all social circles together, you really should not be dealing with this nonsense. Like, you really should not be dealing with this, like, at all. Like, I should not be hearing a Virgo crying about this. Okay, cool. All right, now for my Libras, this is going to be occurring in your 8th house. And so here you're going to be dealing with family funds, joint resources, spousal maintenance, tax, debtors, your partner's money, other people's money. So other people may support you, or they might give you your power. You may deal with inheritances, raises, tax refunds, windfalls. I would tell you to be cautious with loans. Resist the urge to borrow money or do anything that you can't afford. So this is going to affect your 1st and 8th house. This can be some challenges that comes up. Maybe some mental, psychological challenges. This can also deal with forms of sexuality, as well as the 8th house is a planet that is a house that rules our sexual organs. So maybe we be looking at things that surround us with lovers and also sexual health as well. Now we have our 10th house lord in our 8th house. So this can also deal with our reputation and career. So maybe we can have two things kind of happen. You're either going to have obstacles in your career, or you're going to receive support from other people. So the public can support you, your partner can support you, especially if you're dealing like public things. So, or you dealing something that creates something for the public. So you get an applause, things are going well for you. Maybe if you're a politician, you get elected, whatever the case may be, you're going into the right direction. The other thing is, because it's your 10th house lord going into your 8th house, and it's what your partner brings to the table. Maybe whoever your partner is or who supports you have it where you don't really have to work for money. Like, you're getting supported. You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to do much of anything. Their stuff is your stuff, and you're doing really well. You're successful. Okay. Like I said, with the 11th house lord you have the 11th house lord and 5th house lord in the 8th house, I would tell y'all to really watch out for sexual or creative blockages, complications in creativity and sexuality. My best bet, I would tell you guys, is to keep it simple. Keep it simple, Libras, because I do feel like they could slip into some messy hole antics this month. Keep it simple. All right. That's all I'm going to say. Use this time to keep it simple and manage monies and finances. Do that. All right. Good luck, Libras. All right. So for my Scorpios, this is going to occur in your 7th house. And so you're going to have an uptick of personal relationships, friendships. People are going to be trying to link in with you now. And maybe you have a strong need to link in or interact with the public as well. This can also trigger competitors, people who are going to try to like get in your way, because the 7th house is also competitors. Try negotiations, try to be open-minded, try to see who you can cooperate with. This could be the possibility of something good, some type of network system. Because it's also going to impact your 12th house, we can also see a thing too with secret partnerships, secret relationships that no one knows about, working with people that could be anemic. Who knows? Or you fantasize about them. I don't know, Scorpio. This is getting a little interesting. You know, maybe having a fantasy partnership that you always wanted. This is also your 9th house lord in the 7th house. And so what we see from here is, again, wanting to link up. It's just a little bit similar to some other placements, but wanting to link up or partner with people who share your background. So you're going to try to link up with people like we all have the same ideas. We all have the same philosophies. And sometimes you even link up with people who don't have the same philosophy, because Uranus in the 7th house. Maybe to sharpen your outlook or to, challenge how you think. But, kind of running over there. This also kind of deals too with the law. Whether you're making it, breaking it, or trying to lay down the law, like who's running shit, who's in charge, dealing with the public. So you can also deal with people with different nationalities, and stuff like that. Maybe you're dealing with your in-laws at this time. Maybe you're linking up with like teachers and all types of stuff, but really keep that in mind. Okay. So you got your 9th house lord going into your 7th house. This is also going to deal with your career and reputation, your home life, your ancestry, and possibly even forms of creativity, lovers, and or children. So maybe you're doing creative projects with people that you feel like can either challenge your ideals and philosophy, or you guys share the same, and you're trying to keep it on the hush. So good luck, Scorpio. You shouldn't really be having too much of a problem. All right. Now for my Sagittarius, this is going to be occurring in your 6th house. So here in the 6th house, you could be landing a new job. You can begin a new job or apply for one. You can have a good relationship with your coworkers, supervisors. Try to keep your ego in check. Don't start too much trouble. This is a good time to work on an exercise routine, get your health in order, shop for new appliances or things that can help improve your day-to-day, like repairing appliances or stuff like that. This is also centered around job, service, or being helpful to others. I do also say this will also deal with competitors, people who will slander you, people who don't like you. And this can be in your friend group. So maybe you're seeing like older siblings, friend groups, also people competing with you for resources and money. This is your 8th house lord in your 6th house. So this is getting a little, just some type of nastiness. I'm going to be honest. Like I could see the Sagittarius getting just a little bit wild. Okay. But the other aspect too is you could be, because the 8th house is other people's power and stuff like that, you could also be working and handling resources a lot. You may work with your partner in some type of business capacity. I will also, like I said, because the 8th house and the 6th house deals with health, you may have some elimination problems like we talked about in the previous video. So really try to take care of your health. If you backed up, your nose not working, just stay focused and locked in for this month. Again, could be a good sex life is important to you, because the 8th house is genitalia and the 6th house is what we do every day. That's our daily routines. So looking good, staying physical, being strong, try to work on that. Maybe sexually connecting to people is what you're interested in. Also, research, investigation could be something good for you that you want to work in. Some type of service to people that maybe you don't even get paid for. Keep that in mind. But I will say also for Sagittarius too, the flip side is maybe we receive obstacles every day, or you feel like people trying to be oppositional to you, like on a day-to-day basis this month. Really try to take it in stride. You could have a hater run up on you, okay? Just putting it out there. And this could, whether it be like your dad, your sibling, you feel like it's a teacher, and maybe home is the solution. Maybe you want to chill at home. Maybe your mom could be of help, tapping into like ancestral things, maybe real estate, but whatever it is, it's like people hating on you, people starting all this trouble. It can go a couple ways, because like people can give you power or give you things to help, but you never know how people's going to internalize this energy. Okay? Good luck, Sag. Now, for my Capricorns, this is going to be happening in your 5th house. So here, you're going to have a lot of events. It's going to be related to children, romance, relationships, sexuality, sports, socializing, investments, and just creative endeavors in general. You can see a lot of growth and transformations kind of come out of here. Whether it's like with a child or anything, they could be progressing, whatever it is. Maybe they go to college, who knows? But this is going to be affecting children and your reputation, and this is your 7th house lord going into your 5th house. And so we can see people being like very romantic, kind of almost having like Disney type of romantic things going on. You also see certain things where people marrying for love or kind of going through that, but maybe they can receive some type of also adversity in love, but trying to do it in spite of the adversity as well, or trying to get the public or people like interested or partnering in the creative endeavor. And there may be some type of adversity, obstacle that kind of goes on here, but like I said, it could be very romantic, very into it type of business. You can also see maybe some slight obstacles, maybe in finances and with immediate family, and trying to push through anyway. And this can also be related to siblings, neighbors, stuff like that, in forms of communication. All right. Now for my Aquariuses. This is going to be occurring in your 4th house. And so this can really deal with home, domestic matters, possibly relocation, renovation, parental responsibilities, relatives or roommates moving in and out. So there could be some type of home changes that you have to focus in. But this will really help you understand what you need from home, what you need from here. And it deals with the 9th house. So it really deals with, it deals with the 9th house. So maybe we can see things where your values or your father or mother dynamics kind of come in, your own philosophical pursuits is how you want your home, or how maybe you were raised kind of pops in, because the 6th house lord goes down into the 4th. So maybe we could be hanging out with our parents and stuff every day. Maybe we're having some issues dealing with maybe digestion and food. And so You can also see people working on homes. So maybe you're trying to build homes or like renovate the house. Um, I could also see sometimes people try to avoid chores. Again, like I said earlier, if your house is dirty, Aquarius, please clean it. I know you really there's an off chance that there can be internalization of this energy where I don't want to clean anything at all. Clean. Um, get your house in order. No, don't have everything just looking a mess, but get your house in order. You may have to get your mom's house in order, things like that. This can also deal with other relationships and how your home life is impacting your relationships and vice versa. There can also be a thing where maybe you want to go into hiding, more seclusion. Maybe you don't want to be out, or maybe your mom or your early upbringing really solidifies or kind of creates like a very strong indication about self-worth, and maybe your self-worth is being almost, one could argue, fortified or kind of renewed in the idea of how you were brought up, because family and focal point is a strong attachment. So it really centers on that, and also feeling at home and comfortable with yourself too. I see that for people who have Aquarius placements. They can feel very much so at home and very stable at this time, which I think is beautiful. This one also, like I said, deals with your values. Maybe there's increased values of yourself. Also deal with finances. So maybe they take a shoot up during they raise at this time, because we're really working on adjusting our self-esteem, ethics, how we feel about ourselves. We're really learning. Maybe this deals with higher education, college, religion, whatever the case may be that raise your self-esteem. Aquarius, congratulations and good luck. All right, now for my Pisces, this is going to be occurring in your third house. And so this is going to be having things centered around siblings, neighbors, the food you eat, projects involvement. You can also have higher volumes of calls, emails, social media, you name it. Mail. This is also good for test taking, reviewing documents, running errands, doing weekend trips. This is a good time for sharing ideas, gaining knowledge, and trying to use it in a practical everyday environment. So this is your fifth house lord going into your third house. So here where we have creativity, self-expression going into the third house, maybe there's something that you want to be creative and or possibly romantic and sexual about. Maybe children take a center focus, maybe playing and socializing. So maybe you're more daring and adventurous at this time. You want to get into creative communication. Maybe you're attracted to law, theater, politics. There's an abundance of energy at this time. It's really a center focus. Maybe because the sun is also here a little bit too. Maybe you could be a little bit shy about handling romantic relationships. We'll see. Or maybe there's an interest here. But romance also, like I said, takes a center, because the eighth house is also implied or triggered in here. So maybe there can be an obstacle. Or maybe, like I said, other people encourage you for a romantic relationship. Or like I said, the eighth house also deals with psychology and that's sexuality. So maybe you're having more sex, Pisces. I don't know. But here we have our sixth house lord getting involved with daily routines, health, secret fantasies may be involved, and just being more talkative and be more open, wanting to communicate more about what you're into. How did your partner feel or lovers feel about certain things? This can also be being more open too about, I want to have more fun. I feel like I haven't been having fun. Maybe there's secret desires about what you actually like or what will actually feel fun to you. All right. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys have a beautiful May. I will be coming into another video. We talk about the full moon that's going to be occurring in Scorpio in May, amongst some other little tidbits and videos for different transits. But yeah, remember what I told you before? Intentions, restraint, and introspection. Good luck, guys. Bye. Bye.